Nerfed.ai, the week gaming stood still. I am Vanessa Calderon, and we are coming to you with a lot of weight on our shoulders this week. It is one of those cycles where you really feel the friction between the business of making games and the art of playing them.
And I'm Marcus Shaw. We are broadcasting through the Nerfed.ai network with a massive slate of news to unpack. We have got everything from legendary actors returning to the digital screen to some of the most sobering developer news we have had to report in months.
Reflecting on the broader trends of the industry, it feels like we're stuck in a loop of high-stakes contradictions. We get these massive trailer drops that break the internet, but then behind the scenes, the people who actually built those worlds are being let go before the launch party is even over. It is a mood, and honestly, not a great one.
Yeah, it is the classic one step forward, two steps back routine. Let us jump right into the story that has been dominating everyone's feed since Wednesday. The situation at Wildlight Entertainment and the catastrophic trajectory of their debut title, Highguard.
This one really stings because the timing is just brutal. Highguard launched on January 26th, which was barely over 2 weeks ago. Now we're seeing LinkedIn flooded with posts from former employees. Reports indicate that Wildlight has laid off the majority of its staff. Marcus, this was supposed to be the next big thing, right?
Wait, what? I remember the reveal at the 2025 Game Awards. It was the final reveal, the big closer for Jeff Keighley. They had 100,000 concurrent players on Steam on day one, which for a new IP is actually incredible. But the drop-off was just staggering. We're looking at a loss of about 90% of the active player base in a matter of days.
It's that live service trap we talk about all the time on nerf.neuronewscast.com. If a game does not maintain that initial momentum, the publishers panic. Wildlight put out a statement saying they're keeping a core group to keep the service running, but that is basically code for maintenance mode. Alex Grainer, who was a level designer there, mentioned they had a whole roadmap of content that might never see a release now.
That is insane. It feels like developers are not even given the chance to iterate or fix balance issues anymore. If you're not an instant permanent phenomenon, the plug gets pulled. And that leads us to the growing tension at Ubisoft, where the workforce is essentially saying, enough is enough.
Exactly. Over 1,200 employees across multiple international offices just finished a 3-day strike. This was not just a reaction to one thing, but a culmination of years of frustration. They're dealing with studio closures, the cancellation of 6 different projects last month, and then the management dropped the 5-day return to office mandate.
Wild. This seems like a massive disconnect. You have people who have been working remotely for years, hitting their targets and shipping content, and suddenly they are being told they have to move back to expensive tech hubs or lose their jobs. The union reps are pointing the finger directly at Yves Guillemot, claiming he has lost the pulse of the company.
When we look at the industry as a whole, Ubisoft is just one piece of a very broken puzzle. Riot Games also cut about 80 people from their fighting game team this week. This is the team working on 2XKO, which had a lot of hype behind it. It is just a very grim landscape for developers right now.
Yep, it is a hard pivot from the hiring spree we saw a few years ago. But let us try to find a silver lining here, because there is actually some massive news on the project front. Saber Interactive, the studio that just crushed it with Space Marine 2, is taking on a certain legendary assassin.
For real? They are officially developing a AAA John Wick game? This is not some small mobile tie-in. We are talking about a full-scale, single-player, third-person action title. And the best part is that Keanu Reeves is actually involved to provide the likeness and the voice.
That's insane. The premise is actually pretty cool, too. It is set well before the events of the first film, during the years John was building the legend of the Baba Yaga. We are going to see the impossible task that allowed him to retire in the first place. Saber is promising gun-fu combat and cinematic camera work that matches the style of the movies.
I mean, I hope they get the physics right. I'm sorry. What I meant was, I hope they focus on the fluidity of the movement as much as the shooting. If I cannot use a pencil as a weapon in at least one level, they have missed the mark. They are targeting PS5, Xbox Series, and PC, though they are being smart and not giving us a release window yet.
Keeping the expectations grounded is probably the best move Saber can make right now. Now, speaking of unique settings, Krafton Montreal just gave us a look at something called Project Windless. This is a massive departure from their usual PUBG style of content.
Right. This is based on the Korean fantasy novel, The Bird That Drinks Tears. The art style they showed off is absolutely haunting. You play as the hero king, who belongs to a race called the Recon. These are basically giant, 8-foot-tall bird people who are legendary warriors but have a pathological fear of water.
Wild. They are using Unreal Engine 5 to power something they call mass technology. The goal is to simulate thousands of individual soldiers on a battlefield simultaneously. They want the player to feel like they're actually in the middle of war, not just playing a tactical simulation. And they were very firm about it being a premium single-player experience with no live service elements.
That's rough for the publishers who love microtransactions, but it sounds like a dream for the rest of us. After the Highguard disaster, hearing a developer commit to a complete, standalone single-player game feels like a vacation. I just want to be a giant bird and swing twin star-forged blades without worrying about a battle pass.
Yeah, it is definitely a breath of fresh air. However, if you were planning on upgrading your hardware to play these new titles, Valve had some disappointing news this week regarding their upcoming hardware refresh.
Fair. They have officially pushed back the release of the new Steam machine, the updated Steam controller, and the Steam Frame VR headset. Originally slated for late 2025, everything has been moved to the first half of 2026. Valve is citing the ongoing global memory and storage crisis as the primary reason for the delay.
No way! I was really looking forward to that Steam Frame headset. Valve mentioned that the cost of RAM and high-speed SSDs has spiked so much that they couldn't hit their target price point without taking a massive loss or overcharging the consumers. It is a tough call, but Valve usually prefers to wait until the tech is affordable for the masses.
Looking at the hardware side of things, it makes you appreciate the value of services like Game Pass even more when new tech is out of reach. We actually have a massive drop happening today, February 13th, for subscribers.
Yep, it is a big day. High on Life 2 is finally here. If you enjoyed the first one, you know what to expect. More talking guns, more absurdist humor, and a lot of intergalactic weirdness. At the same time, the original Kingdom Come Deliverance is hitting the service, likely to get people hyped for the sequel.
Brutal! I mean, my backlog is already screaming at me, but next Tuesday we are also getting Avowed and Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. It is like they want us to never leave our houses. I am also surprisingly interested in that indie title that dropped yesterday, Roadside Research.
Wild! That is the Alien gas station simulator, right? It looks like a very strange mix of Papers, Please and a management sim. You have to run this remote station while hiding the fact that you are an alien, all while the government is breathing down your neck.
Exactly. It is like a perfect metaphor for being a developer in 2025. Just keep the lights on and hope nobody notices you're struggling. Speaking of things going wrong behind the scenes, we have to talk about the truly bizarre situation at Build a Rocket Boy.
That's insane! This is the studio founded by former Rockstar legend Leslie Benzies. Apparently, employees discovered a piece of surveillance software called TerraMind installed on their work machines. It was running in the background, monitoring everything from keystrokes to active applications, and it was allegedly slowing down their rendering software.
Right. And when the staff confronted management, the response from co-CEO Mark Gerhard was wild. He claimed there is a multi-million-dollar, quote, sabotage campaign being orchestrated against them by a major American competitor. He basically said the surveillance was necessary to catch corporate spies within the company.
Wait, what? That sounds like the plot of a techno thriller, not how you run a game studio. Their previous project, Mind's Eye, did not exactly set the world on fire last year, And now they're filing criminal complaints against journalists who are reporting on the surveillance. It is a very messy situation that is only getting messier.
For real. It is a reminder that even when you have industry veterans at the helm, things can go sideways fast. We will be keeping a very close eye on that story as it develops, especially with the legal threats flying around. It's just another chapter in what has been a truly exhausting week for the industry.
Yeah, I think we all need a weekend to just reset. Go play some of those Game Pass titles, ignore the surveillance software on your fictional work computers, and maybe stay away from any alien gas stations for a while.
That is a solid plan, Marcus. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive. I am Vanessa Calderon.
And I am Marcus Shaw. Catch you all in the next lobby. GG.
Neural Newscast is AI-assisted, human-reviewed. View our AI transparency policy at neuralnewscast.com.